Well, Squat Senior here. Had a few minutes today. Figured maybe we'll get into this oil pump. We'll tear this down, see what the condition is, do some checks on it and stuff, just in case I need to get some parts ordered. So this is the main oil pump in the engine. You can see the drive shaft comes down. It's driven off the camshaft, goes through into the body. You got a drive gear off the end of that gear, and then you have an idler gear in there. It's a gear type pump. What it'll do, picks up oil through the main suction. This is a floating suction screen. You can see it's screened in there. It keeps big chunks out of the lubrication system anyway. It does pull in oil up through here, then it's distributed out of this hole and goes into a passage in the block. So anyway, let's start going. I'm going to get that screen out of the way first. I cheated a little bit here. I did loosen up some of the bolts in the vise. They were down there pretty tight, but we'll start tearing this thing down. Just a slip fit in there. Notice how that's kind of springing out. There's a pressure relief valve in there, so right now I'm working against the spring on that pressure relief valve. So we'll get might have to loosen a little more with the wrench till we get that tension off. Make sure I hang on to this in case she happens to fly apart on me. I'm not going to be losing pieces. This one's going to be stubborn all the way, it looks like. Cocks that bottom part of that housing, binds me up. There we go. We got her. Okay, you can see part of a gasket there. There is different thickness gaskets they use, and that determines the end clearance on these gears. There's a certain spec for that. This is the pressure relief valve spring. There's specs for length and tension on that. And there should be a sliding valve in there. There we go, right there. What that does is only limits the pressure on the lubrication system to a certain amount of pounds, so you don't ever over-pressurize the system. They say these pumps are, the capacity is way over what's required for the engine. So anyway, let's start seeing if I get some of these gears apart and see what they look like. This idler one should, there we go, she's starting to come. I'll start looking. I'm not sure if I'm real impressed. It looks like some pretty good wear. You can feel some roughness on them gear teeth there. There looks like a pretty good scuff mark right in there. There is. You can feel it with your finger. I got a feeling this thing's going to need some new gears. I don't like how loose that bushing is either. That bushing is quite loose in there. So anyway, looking like I got to get into this a little farther. This gear's put on with a pin and keyed, so I'll get that out of there, and we'll get this shaft out, see what we got. Yeah, you can see lots of bushing wear in there. That's not good. Anyway, I'll get into getting some of these out of the way, and then we'll get back into her a little bit. Okay, rounding up a drift punch and a hammer here. As you can see, I have started driving that pin out. She's pretty tight, but we'll finish taking that out, see if we can get this shaft out of there. There we go. I suppose the next challenge is going to be to get that gear off. It's probably press fit. I'm not sure. I've never been into one of these. So, okay, got my puller lined up and stuff. And we'll see if we can get it set up here. This is a multi-puller set I've got. It's got a cone on here. I do have one with 2 ears on if you want to just go straight across. I'm going to try the 3. It gives me a little more purchase on the gear there. Different length of puller arms come with it. This puller shaft here has got a rounded end. And generally what I'll do there, instead of putting it right against the shaft, I'll put a nut on there. We'll put that in there. It can spin on that. Won't be scarring up the shaft. It'll be more working on that nut there. So let's finish putting this thing together and see if we can get this gear off. See what kind of a catastrophe we can come up with here. Oh, she's a tight one. Give me a little assist here in holding this thing. Okay, she's starting to move. I can see through the pinhole. I'm starting to get that covered up now, so it looks like we got her done. Getting easier the farther I go. There we go. See if we can get that key out of there. See if it's a half moon. See if she'll rotate. Oh yeah. Give me a little more grip on her this way. There you go. A little bit of a burr on the shaft right there. It don't look like there's a bother coming out. Yeah, we'll take a look and see what the shaft looks like. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's not good. We got the extreme wear. Get her wiped off there. Yeah, it's quite extreme. Yeah, I think this thing is looking more and more like a new oil pump to me. Got considerable wear there too next to the gears. Gears have wear. This yours looks like this is another one that's pinned on. It's also keyed. Anyway, looks like this is about as far as we're going to go on this. Do a little research, see what I come up with. I know they do have new oil pumps for these, so that isn't bothering me, but this definitely does need help. You can definitely see that. So, but yeah, these gears are, I'm not real sure. I don't like them either, so I'm pretty sure we're into this thing for a new pump. Anyway, guys, that's the way it goes. I know when you check these here for clearances, you get, there's a side clearance between the gear and the housing you go by. I believe that's 3 to 6. There's also a clearance between the plate right here, which doesn't look like an astronomical lot of wear on there. I mean, it's something I would use again. And there's the distance between this gear and that plate is like another 3 to 6 thousandths. That gear play spacing in here, that's all dictated by different thicknesses of gaskets. So, and that is measured by just your shaft in and out like that. So anyway, this pump definitely is a bad one. I know when this thing run, it started with fairly good oil pressure, but the warmer it got, it really started dropping off bad, which kind of made me think maybe I had some bad bearings. But if you guys remember in the past, the bearings are looking excellent in her. So I think a lot of my oil pressure problems was this pump. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this episode, and we'll see, try getting into another little project here. Got parts and stuff, starting to get a little time, starting to get into this thing a little more serious now. Now, check in later, guys. We'll have another one coming up, hopefully shortly. Well, I'm going to give you guys an update. I figured I was done with this, but I walked away, started thinking about this thing for a minute, and come up with some more ideas and some more checks I should probably do. I figured maybe I better look at the drive gear here for the oil pump that runs off the camshaft. It's wear on it, you can see, but the wear pattern actually is where it should be on there. I feel anyway, it's nice and shiny. Don't see a lot of horrendous scarring or anything, but it is wore. Got into looking at the cam, and you can also see where it's shined up. I don't see any gouges. Hopefully you can catch that on with the flashlight and stuff. But anyway, I'm thinking I think the camshaft should be good. I mean, I'm sure this was replaced. It's got the right rotation on the nut now and everything else. The wear on everything is negligible, right? Perfectly in spec. I see no scoring on the journals or anything. So I do feel comfortable reusing this. But I've had comments in the past that possibly the oil pump could be the cause of the knock. Some guy says that has been a cause in the past. I'm not real sure. I've never run into this. But anyway, with the wear in that pump and the way them gears are flopping around and stuff, it's very possible it could be. Any of your guys' opinions would greatly be appreciated. So feel free to comment. I check them out. I'm not real good at answering them yet. Still working on this YouTube stuff a little bit. But anyway, this should actually finally wrap up this episode. So stay tuned.